All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and great millstone who will well. Peace and mercy to the Tazadak I came out there that's laboring in truth with all sincerity. All right, I want to say Shalom. All right, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shah, just to get just to touch up on the breakdowns. All right, I'm gonna go through Revelations 13. All right, I'm gonna break it into two parts. All right, I'm gonna just jump right into it. All right, this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right, and I want to I'm gonna read it again. We're gonna focus on what the sea. It says Revelation 13:1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea. All right, and at sea, all right, is twofold. All right, because John the Revelator, he was on the island of Patmos. All right, what he actually visualized in his vision was a sea. All right, and we also know that the sea is also symbolic and also represents the different peoples, the nations, and tongues. All right, and to prove that, we got Revelation 17 and 15. It reads, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, all right, the whore is what? America, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongue. So going back into the sea is represents the different nations, peoples, all right. Continuing on, it says, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. All right. And John the Revelator, he actually seen a beast. All right. Because you have to understand, and in biblical times, when the prophets, received visions, they didn't really have the understanding of what the vision meant. But now, up to now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shah, he revealed to us what's the true meaning, of the visions of the that these prophets was visualizing, of the prophecies. All right, because this particular chapter is full of prophecies. Okay, so a beast. Going back to the beast, a beast is represents what the different Edomite rulerships, the different Edomite kingdoms. All right, and we know that a beast is what? Someone who's brutal, someone who's crafty. All right, malicious. All right, so just keep that in mind. All right. So it says having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right. And we know the 7 heads and 10 horns represents the NATO and the EU. All right. The NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was formed in 1949. All right. To keep, peace in Europe. All right. Because the NATO was formed right after World War II. Okay. And also it was created, all right, to combat the USSR, which is Russia, all right, who was a major world, at that particular time, you could arguably say still is, was one of the world's uh, power country, man, a world's power, however you want to say it, but it was to combat, the USSR, all right, and we know that NATO was formed by the U.S., Canada, and other, countries. A few countries. All right, and then when you talking about the seven, all right, original countries, the 7 heads, it goes into uh France, Greece, Rome, Great Britain, Spain, Germania Major, and Germania Minor. All right, which is West Germany and East Germany. All right, and the 10 heads, all right, represents the European Union. All right, you know, which consists of Denmark, all right, the Netherlands, all right, Belgium, Luxembourg, France, Italy, Portugal, Great Britain, uh, Greece, And the last one, I believe, them up Belgium, you know, and these and then this goes back, the Ten Horns, the European Union goes back into the Treaty of Rome, which was created in 1957. Okay, all right, and it says, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right, because you know these different Edomite rulerships, kingdoms, they slandered, all right, the Most High, man, and his men. All right, and it reads, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. All right, and we know that this leopard represents, all right, Alexander the Great, along with the Greeks. All right, the Greeks. All right, and to prove that, let's go to Daniel's chapter 7, verse 6. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. All right, and this leopard represents, the Alexander the Great, and the Greeks, which we know that the Greeks was what the Greeks basically started Esau's rulership, man. Esau's rulership began, with the Greek Empire. Okay, and it says the beast had also 4 heads. Those 4 heads goes into Alexander the Great's 4 generals, which was Lysimachus, all right, Cassander, Ptolemy, all right, and Seleucus, okay, which they were known as the Diadoches, okay. So going back into Revelations 13, now we know what that's talking about. Let's read it again. Revelations 13:2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And, you know, the reason why the Greeks was compared into a leopard, because we know a leopard, when you go into the characteristics of a leopard, we know that a leopard is real swift, all right, and fast. And, when Alexander, the Great came into rulership, he conquered, he conquered lands very swiftly, very fast, man. He actually, was able to gain, the world's power in, like, I believe in like 12 years, is get that first Maccabees. All right, this is First Maccabees, chapter 1. I'm gonna read from the top and then go jump down. Verse 1. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. All right. I'm gonna just read it straight down. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And that's the spirit, because a lot of these nations are tributaries to America. You know, they're vassals. That's what the NATO and the EU was really formed. They're really vassals into to America. All right, the new Rome. Okay, it says, in verse 5, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. Right. So, just going back into, how, as we read, that he conquered, he went through the ends of the earth and conquered, man. And many nations, paid tributary towards Alexander the Great in the Greek Empire. All right, and he did this all in 12 years, which is very fast. You know, you know, going back into Revelations 13. All right, it says Revelations 13:2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. And this, the bear represents Russia. All right, and when it says the feet of the bear, because we know Russia is going to, bring America, who's the new Rome, to an end by sending, its missiles at America. Man, it's prophesied to destroy or to play a part of destroying Babylon the Great, which is America. All right, the feet represents the end of the thing. All right, and we know that even in today's world, Russia's symbol goes, is the bear. Okay, and you could get Ezekiel 38, Magog and Gog, but it says, in his mouth as the mouth of a lion. All right, and this mouth of a lion represents Great Britain, and in fact, as well, and to this day, the lion is Great Britain's symbol. All right, and we know that the international bankers, the rulers of the earth, live in Great Britain. And when it says the mouth of a lion going to the legislation, all right, the laws are created, in Great Britain. That's where America gets its legislation and its laws from. All right, because we know America comes out of Great Britain. All right, so that mouth of a lion represents Great Britain. All right. It says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And that dragon represents the ancient Roman Empire. Okay. Verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And his deadly wound is going back into the Renaissance period. You go into the word Renaissance, it means the rebirth of the Roman Empire, because, all right, the pagan Roman Empire fell. All right, which we know in history that Jake, starting with Septimius Severus, all right, bringing down the pagan Roman Empire, man. All right, and if you look at the timeline, a couple what I believe. Let me see. I know the Holy Roman Empire, when Jake was ruling, started around 300 A.D. So that's where you get Constantine and different Roman emperors that was Jake ruling. All right, so this deadly wound is talking about when after the 1,000 years, because Jake ruled in Europe for 1,000 years. All right, from I believe from 300 A.D. to like the 1300s. All right, and then they fell into the to Esau, right? All right, to the Edomites, all right, which they call it the Renaissance period, all right, meaning when they came back into power, all right, and then that's when they was doing iconoclasm, when they was destroying, the images of Jake, all right, icon going to images, clasm means destroy, you know, you know. So the Renaissance. Let's just talk about the Renaissance period. Let's go. Let's go to Revelations 20. All right. They gain their power back. All right. So this is Revelations 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. That's talking about, like I said, that's talking about the Renaissance period, when they regained their power back. All right, because they fell, you know, to Jake, which we know that 1,000 years when Jake ruled was talking about the Byzantine Empire. All right, all right. So they gained their power back. You know, after they took Jake down. All right, which is Israel. All right, which is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, all right. I'll read it again. This is Revelations 13:3. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast. Yeah, the world wandered after the beast, man, the ancient Roman Empire, because when they regained back their power, they had such a strong military. The world wandered after the military power, the agriculture, the philosophies, their you know you know they just fell into the philosophies, the military. They wandered after her. They was like they was amazed, you know, because Rome grew. That's where you get the Colosseum and things of that nature, man. So the world wandered like, wow, you know. Verse 4, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who was like unto the beast, who was able to make war with him? And we know the dragon is the ancient Roman Empire, which gives power to the NATO and the EU. All right, the NATO and the EU gets its power from Rome. All right, and it says, and they worship the beast. Yeah, they worship him. They follow. They patent everything from Rome. You know, you know, they follow the same the Gregorian calendar. They follow they worship their system. Okay, you know, the NATO and the EU, they worship the beast, man. All right, it says saying who was like unto the beast, who was able to make war with him. Because what nation is going to come against, all right, Esau? In retrospect, this is what they're saying. What nation is going to come against this beast? These empires. What nation is going to come against Esau, man? All right. Verse 5, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. All right. And that's exactly, you know what the so-called white man did, man. He spoke great things and blasphemies. When you go to the word blasphemies, means to slander. And how did he slander? You know, by changing the laws, all right, of the scriptures of the Holy Bible, all right, making homosexuality legal, allowing men to turn into women turn into man, all right, promoting adultery, okay, putting pork in every single thing you could think of, the concrete, all right, putting fluoride in your water, all right, literally blaspheming the names of the Most High, all right, whitewashing the images of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shah, all right, putting blonde hair and blue eyes, whitewashing the angels, whitewashing the prophets, all right. He spoke great things and blasphemy, man. He spoke slander unto the Most High, saying he is the Most High, you know. It says, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And those 42 months represents 350 years, all right, from, I believe, 1619 to 1969, when Israel, got the spirit back, all right, through Abba Bivens, ultimately through Yahweh Shem Shah, but, having Yahweh Shem Shah set up Abba Bivens to bring forth, this truth again, okay? And then in those 300, within those 350 years, Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we were lost. We didn't know who we were. We were slaves, okay? We were just following, after the so-called white man and his ways. But but after the 350 years, we got the spirit back, of who we are. We got our true identity back of being Israelites. Okay? Verse 6, and he says he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High to blaspheme his name. That's exactly what he did. All right? He blasphemed the name. Jehovah. Oh, there's multiple names. You know, it says his tabernacle. All right, the Israelites, because we are the Lord's tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. The angels. Okay, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Right, and he made war with the saints, man. Via the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, what he did to the Native Americans, which is known as GAD. All right, by what slaughtering them, putting them on reservations. Okay, and what he did to the Southern Kingdom as well, man. Butt breaking them. You know, dealing with us with harsh, legislations, laws. You know, lynching us, persecuting us. All right, he made war with the saints. The saints is the Israelites, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Because the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Let's go to Job. Okay, Job 9:24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" All right, so the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, man. The power was given into the wicked. All right, and we know the power of the power is in the hand of the Lord. So the Lord gave Esau this power. Going back into Genesis 27, he gave Esau the fatness of the earth. Okay, but soon his rulership is coming to an end. All right, when Yahweh Shah returns with the angels. Okay, so Esau, we know Esau is the chief ruler of the earth, man. Okay, he's the chief ruler of the earth right now. All right. It reads, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Right. And this is talking about the 2/3, man. Because the elect is not going to bow down to the image of Baal. We know the elect is not going to bow down into Esau's system. All right. Who's not going to worship Esau. All right. We only know that the 2/3 of our people, which is the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native Americans, 2/3 are gonna, worship this system. There's gonna be, 2/3 of our people is gonna take the chip, man. All right, as the verses on down goes into, you know, but 2/3 of our people is, they worship in the system. If you took the vaccine, you worship in the system, man. All right, you believe in Esau's in his medical field. You believe in his democracy. All right, you worship the beast. You worship the system. You believe, whatever the so-called white man tells you, man. But we know the elect is the only ones who's going to stand tall, man. All right, only the elect is the ones who's not going to, worship this beast. That's why the scriptures speak about in Zechariah the 13th chapter that 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off and die. And how they going to be cut off and die by fire. All right, and the Lord preserved, the 1/3. All right, you know, it reads, if any man have an ear, let him hear. All right, and with that, I'm gonna make a part two. Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom.